Today, we are going to be talking about the crucial aspect of dealing with narcissists in court or negotiation and whether or not you should be bringing in expert witnesses. And they can make or break you, they can make or break a case. I've had good ones, I've had bad ones in my more than 20 years of dealing with cases and dealing with trials. They can be expensive. Frankly, they can really help a case or they can hurt a case. And they can be really game changers, or they can do nothing for you, or they can actually even hurt you. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm a globally recognized attorney, a negotiations and high conflict communications expert. I'm also the author of Slay the Bully, How to Negotiate with a Narcissist and Win. And welcome. I invite you to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're new here, because I'm here every single day giving you tips and tricks on how to fight back against that narcissist, whether you're dealing with them in a negotiation setting, a work setting, a family setting, whatever setting. I want you to become the most powerful version of yourself in dealing with narcissists or navigating high conflict situations and get a powerful resolution and become the most powerful version of yourself. They can come in a variety of different ways, whether or not it's a financial situation, whether for the kids, if you're in a family law situation. I want to help you with key strategies to understand how to effectively use expert witnesses to your advantage. A lot of times people think, oh, I only need them for court. I disagree with that. I think that honestly, if you have a really good expert witness, you can actually get your case bolstered, get it ready, and even use them and prepare what you have to get somebody to be motivated to want to resolve issues with you long before you get to that situation. You can even use their information in a regular negotiation. I was having a situation recently with a family member who wanted to sell their company, and I said, hey, go get your business valuated and then go and approach that person with a strong position, with a business valuation, so that that person will know that this is indeed the value of the business before you go there. So in other words, there's something where you can use that information from the expert to potentially influence what that other person was going to think or believe or be persuaded that way. So, expert witnesses can be useful, not just in legal battles, but in any kind of a negotiation, even pre-suit, hopefully, or pre-negotiation, so that the person can be persuaded, especially if they see the person's credentials, they understand that the person is neutral, if they feel like the person's neutral. Let's talk about psychological experts first. In some cases, let's say it's a custody situation. So what you want to do, and I talk about this in some of my other videos as well, which you can check out, is what you're dealing with is you're over here going, I don't want my kids with this other person, or maybe I don't want this person to have my kids 50-50, or whatever it is. Well, the first thing that I would say to you is, and I've had this conversation with a lot of clients over the years, and now I certify people in high conflict negotiation. And so, I would even say to the coaches that I train, if you're coaching somebody through a situation, if it's not 50%, the other person's not going to get zero. So where are you going to land on this? Are you going to land on 40%, 30%, 20%? Where are you going to land? And so how are you going to get to that number? And you've got to be able to support that number. And it's a whole lot easier if you've got a neutral third party who can help you get there. Otherwise, you're going to just sound like you are a controlling parent who just doesn't want the other person to have their kids. You really want somebody who's going to be able to say, listen, I'm a psychological expert. I have visited both homes. I've done all the psychological testing on both parties. I've observed the children with both parties. I have interviewed piano teacher, the baseball coach, seen the children in both homes, or whatever it is. I've looked into the situation. I've really looked under the hood, and I understand what the context is. And then they also will do a report based on the factors in the statute. So the best interest of the child factors in the statute, because that's what the judge is going to be interested in. The judge is going to be interested in the law. You're over here based on emotion, and I love my kids and I want to protect my children, and I don't think this other person should have them because of X, Y, and Z. You have a lot of emotion wrapped up in it, whereas the judge has to look, how do the facts line up with the factors in the best interest of the child statute, which for your state, assuming you're in the United States, which I'm sure that if you're not watching this from the United States, wherever you are, whatever the equivalent is in your country for the laws around the children, you have to just look at the law as it applies to your particular situation. So in our country, every state has something called the best interest of the child, and that's the overall standard. But the law itself in each state, there's going to be factors, there's going to be elements within that statute. So, like I know in Florida, there's like 17 factors, okay? And each one of those is something that the court has to weigh. Every other state has a different number of them, but you have to weigh each one of them. And you take the facts and you apply them. How can you help? How can you help your psychological expert? By taking the elements of that statute. And I would just literally take a binder, take a Redwell, take, something, and start organizing all of your facts, all of your documentation according to the elements of that statute so that you have it all organized and ready to go. And that's what I help you do through my SLAY program, my proven blueprint, so that you can actually start putting it together, start lining it up, because you can always influence, you can always make your argument accordingly, because there's always going to be ways that you can fashion it and make it, there's always summaries you can do. And well, listen, there's a summary of lies, there's a summary of inconsistent statements, there's a summary of all the times they were late, all the, whatever it is, to say, hey, 58% of the time they said this, or so, yeah, 73% of the time they were late, or whatever. So you can sort of be able to influence what the person is seeing and see it through that lens. And so then that way they can evaluate, was there emotional damage? Was there stress that was put upon this child or this family or this person, or, whether it was you, if it's a different type of a claim that you're making. Maybe it's a work claim. Maybe it's that you were dismissed when you shouldn't have been, or whatever it is. But this way you can provide context. Whoever it is, the psychological expert can see the patterns of abuse and how it affected whoever the victims are over time. And then they can see the gaslighting, they can see the manipulation. But it's not just you coming in and saying it. This way, you're almost using this expert as your mouthpiece, but it's being supported by actual facts and documentation, and within the context of the law, which is what the judge wants to see and needs to see in order to make their determination. So that's a psychological expert. So anytime somebody says, I want psychological testing, they're not going to just do psychological testing. And I say that all the time without really good reason. But if you put something at issue that they need to have psychological testing done, like best interest of the child, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with gas. That's a psychological expert, right? Is this making sense? If this is making sense, put makes sense in the comments below. Making sense so far. So that's psychological experts. The next one is financial experts. Financial experts can be used in so many different realms: business situations, probate litigation, almost anything. Honestly, certainly in divorce cases, lifestyle, what somebody's true income is, child support. You need to know for even attorney's fees, a lot of times, need versus ability to pay. Financial experts are essential, especially in divorce, any kind of financial dispute, any kind of business valuation situation. What can a forensic do here? They can trace hidden assets, they can analyze financial statements, they can testify about the economic impact of narcissist actions. So they can uncover hidden assets, they can go to great lengths to do that. I know that narcissists, many times people think that they have been hiding assets, and many times they do. Offshore investments, concealing assets. I know many times in divorce, it's very pivotal in making sure that you know that you're getting a fair division of property, or you know what somebody's true income is. Here's the thing I'm going to tell you about that. You want to make sure you're getting a return on your investment. These kinds of financial experts can be expensive, especially if you're trying to trace offshore assets and you're going on this wild goose chase to figure out if somebody actually is making more money than they say they are, and they have got a cash business and all that sort of thing. So you really want to make sure that you're going to have a return on your investment with this. You don't want to chase good money after bad. A lot of times there's a much bigger fear than there actually is of what's actually been happening. So you just want to make sure that you are not into your head with a lot of this sort of thing. And you really do know, hey, I'm going to spend 20,000, but I'm going to recover 200 or whatever it is, or I'm going to spend 20 and I'm going to recover $1 million or something to that effect. Because, or at least like, I'm going to prove that they spent X amount, and that way I can put that amount on the spreadsheet and I'll get credit for that amount. Something to that effect. They can analyze financial statements, especially complex ones. I've had situations where, I've had corporate executives who've been working out of the country, or they have very complex ways that they get paid because of how their stock schedules get vested or things like that. It can be very, very useful and helpful for that. Definitely very, very helpful for those kinds of things. Quantifying and looking at future, how much somebody might be getting paid, that kind of thing, what their vested stock values are going to be. So that's financial experts. Tax impacts on things. Really, really helpful many times for financial experts. You really need them for that sort of thing, honestly. And by the way, if you're getting ready to negotiate with a narcissist, make sure to get my free Crush My Negotiation Prep Playbook. So helpful to get you started. You can get that at winmynegotiation.com. And join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. Really, really helpful for you to have a support group. Next thing is medical experts. Especially if you have had health issues, you claim you're actually, having issues because of the physical health that you've had. They can provide testimony about the impact, the severity of it. If you've had physical injuries, you might need medical experts to testify as to that, why you can't work, and explaining the severity if you have other issues, stress related things, that sort of thing. Invaluable, because especially if you are asking for support of any kind. So if you guys have had to use expert witnesses for anything, I would love to know your comments. Remember, you can hire them for your own case. That would be your own expert, or you can go to the court and have them appointed as a neutral third party. If you do that and you ask the court to appoint one, my recommendation for that is that you bring 3 names that you're okay with, because then any one of the 3 are somebody that you're going to be okay with. Don't just say point one. Ask for who you might be okay with, if possible. Go ahead and share your stories in the comments of the expert witnesses that you have used. The next kind of expert might be like a domestic violence expert who can testify as to the cycle of abuse, the cycle of power, the cycle of the impact on the victims. They can assess the risk. I haven't really used that kind of expert myself that much. Most of the time in domestic violence cases, they don't really go there, but you could try for that. The next one is technology and cybersecurity experts. In our increasingly digital world, technology and cybersecurity experts are becoming much, much more important in cases. They can look at threatening emails, they can look at computers, they can look at spyware, they can trace the sources of things as much as possible. It's really kind of a crazy world that we live in nowadays. And in my SLAY program, I do have a whole thing on tracking and hacking devices and spyware and all of that, and how you can detect it and how you can figure it out. So I definitely recommend that you check that out at slayyournegotiation.com. Protective measures so important nowadays. All right. So it's better to, get it on the front end and try to figure it out on the back end. Just saying. This is, just a few of the types of expert witnesses in narcissist abuse cases that you can use. There's so many other, really, there's all different types of experts that you can bring in, but those are like the main ones that I've seen. I would love to know what your experience is. It can really make a significant difference. I've seen bad ones. I've had to oust them right in the middle of trial sometimes because I found out they were supposed to be neutral and working with the other side. It's crazy. If you are dealing with a narcissist right now, make sure that you have subscribed here. You hit that notification bell. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share it with others. If you found this video helpful, just to, remember that they only win if you give in. And I've had so many people win. You can win this. You absolutely can. Wherever you are is the jumping off point. I promise you. So the next video I really want you to watch is Winning in Court Against a Narcissist, a Lawyer's Guide. I have a whole video on how to win in court against a narcissist. All right. But before you go there, today's a great day to start negotiating your best life. Okay, you got this. You got this. I promise you, you got this. All right. And I'll see you in that next video. Shopify helps millions sell billions around the world through their digital courses, through their digital products at the touch of a button on their smartphones, on social media, however they want, including me. At shop.rebeccazung.com, you can access your store from all over the world, just the touch of a button from your smartphones. Start accepting payments. Everything you need to sell online, manage orders, and develop relationships in one place and look fabulous doing it. Shopify is the commerce platform that is revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide, including my own, at shop.rebeccazung.com. So right now, what you need to do is sign up for a $1 a month trial period at shopify.com/bestlife, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/bestlife to take your retail business to the next level today. Shopify.com/bestlife.